man. Here we go.
Pound the Walk podcast, guys.
Welcome to the wild card weekend of Pound the Walk podcast, baby.
We
First
have made
playoff
it.
pod here. Made it
Yeah.
through regular season. Made it through a shit show of a week 18, but here we are. This is a time where it matters now.
Yeah, it's. I mean, every football season just flies by because you're having fun, man. You're having fun. Yeah, week 18 was. We guessed it almost. We were like, man, we didn't even know what to expect, but we got exactly what we expected, which is what we didn't expect. You know what I mean? Week 18.
What he said.
As long as I came back from my 9-point deficit, I'm happy. I'm happy with voting on week 18 matchups. Otherwise, it's almost like shooting in the dark. But yeah.
Well, now that you mentioned the Week 18 results, let's just dive right on in because I'm excited to talk about playoffs, man. I'm done with regular season; it's over with, and now we're hopping into the fun stuff.
Hell yeah, it's gonna get real dirty in there with these good ballers. Man, I'm happy to talk about it. But yeah, let's get right into it. Week 18. We started off with like Saturday games again, I think, right? Didn't we?
Yeah, we had some Saturday games to kick her off. Cleveland at Baltimore.
Yeah, there it was. Cleveland at Baltimore. Got that one right.
Not
Slaughtering.
much to say. Baltimore doing what Baltimore does. Lamar Jackson had another good game. Derrick Henry went off.
Yep.
Cleveland, they remain to be cursed. We both got that one correct.
Yeah, I mean Zay Flowers, I guess the biggest thing over there. He like had that weird. It looked like maybe a non-contact knee injury or something, but I think it turned out to be a sprain. He's going to be missing this week, which is big. I mean, it's super big, missing the first
Huge.
playoff game.
It's a huge one. Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Baltimore killed though.
But
So,
hopefully, if things go right, he'll jump in the tail end if they proceed.
yeah.
We did have an early disparity here. You starting to crawl back a little bit. We had Cincinnati at Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Real close game. Either one of us could have. It wasn't terribly wrong picks. I think it was a 19-17 victory, but Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase doing kind of what they've been doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Pittsburgh.
squeezed a tight game.
Pittsburgh definitely like had the opportunity to close out that game, but they didn't. So I mean that was the number one thing. But yeah, I guess Cincinnati was hungry, man. It was a close, low scoring matchup. But Jamar Chase was like that dude. I mean, and Joe Burrow did what he had to do. And now they still didn't make the playoffs.
All that for naught.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna happen.
And Pittsburgh Steelers are still in there. So what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
This is me trying to crawl my way back a little bit. Carolina, Atlanta, got that one right. Looks like you chose poorly on that one. Good game though.
Yeah, high
Went to
scoring.
overtime, 44-38. Michael Penix looks great, man.
Mm-hmm.
Bijan Robinson had a great game. Drake London had a great game. Statistically, Atlanta looked good. It's just they have a couple errors there, and Carolina just outpaced them there at the end.
Yeah, and Bryce Young still looking good. Damn, I forget they apparently. Oh yeah, it's like Carolina gave him a new nickname, like the Carolina Reaper, because he's just like upsetting seasons, like teams like
Just
chances on the
ruining
playoffs.
people's
Yeah,
playoffs.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool little nickname, the Carolina Reaper. He has been looking really good, man. What a bounce back. I mean, it's his second year. It's like the benching thing was idiotic. I mean, obviously, if we look back, but who knows? Maybe it's the reason what got him hungry, and he put his head down. Now look at him. He's showing that he's gonna have a promising career. I mean, small dude like Drew Brees build, and he's got that brain, man. He can actually sling it too.
Yeah, sophomore year. I think the benching was actually a smart idea. I don't know if he was a little complacent. Maybe not. I don't know. But ever since then, it's been a different Bryce Young that I've seen. So I don't know if that just kind of shook him into place. But whatever it did, like you said, promising career or promising start to hopefully a long career.
Yeah.
So shout out Bryce Young.
Shout him out.
Big one here. Both got this one right. Washington at Dallas. Bigger for Washington than Dallas, obviously. It's just keeping that momentum going for the commies here coming into the playoffs for the first time in a little while. So hopefully they keep that momentum rolling.
Yeah, I
excited
mean,
to see what our hometown boys can do.
yeah, I mean, they balled out. Shout out Marcus Mariota for closing the game. They were it was a stagnant start, if I remember correctly, and it was a big game for them in the sense of seeding, and it got exactly what I would imagine most of them wanted, and a lot of the fans wanted. They got to, now they're going to play Tampa instead of the Rams, which a big swing. So shout out Marcus Mariota, he balled the fuck out. Oregon Duck,
Yeah, I
one of
think
the best.
that offense is. They've done a really good job of putting that offense together. Obviously, Jaden Daniels, Marcus Mariota, uh, similar play style. So I mean, it's just the right plug and play for that offense. So
Yeah.
yeah, big shout out Marcus. He's still got a little juice left in the tank.
Yeah, Cliff Kingsbury's like definitely one of them guys. He's a good coordinator. I mean, he probably will get another shot at head coaching, and he was somewhat successful in his short head coaching stint in the NFL. But he's in the right place in Washington, in my opinion. Him and Jaden together.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah.
So we both missed on this one here. Chicago at Green Bay. Chicago barely squeezed a little victory over the Packers there. Caleb Williams did what he had to do. I don't think there were any really astounding numbers put up.
Yeah, it was intermittently throughout the game. They would just make some big plays. It was a close game. Like Green Bay still almost kind of pulled through, but Chicago, if I remember correctly, they were just making big play after big play. And in crunch time, Caleb Williams, finally got an opportunity to show his clutchness, and he was throwing some, good throws. I think like DJ Moore and Roma Dunze had like big catches on the sideline. They got to field goal range and won the game. It was funny. Chicago and Washington both like closed out and won the game at the very like exact same time. It was like red zone had them like showing at the same time. So like it all ultimately both things for good for Washington happened. So got them that matchup.
Yeah. So if you're a Chicago fan, I mean, I don't know if it feel like a huge sense of relief, but I do see better things on the horizon. You do have a very solid quarterback, and as long as you guys can still keep building that offense, you could have a promising stint here in the next couple of years.
Shout out my friend Josh. He's a diehard Bears fan. I saw him. I was with him on Saturday for the games, and he was just talking about how much he hates Green Bay. And then I'm texting him on Sunday. I'm like, "Yo, you guys are looking good." And he's like, "I guess." Like he's like, "Of course, the one time we fucking beat Green Bay, like I'm pissed that our draft picks getting fucked up." But yeah, I mean, whatever. You got that dub at Green Bay, so that's a win.
Yeah,
It's a moral
always
victory.
fun. We have a little AFC South action here. Two of them back to back. We'll start with Houston at Tennessee. Both got that one right. Damian Pierce had a monster game, had 176 yards.
Yeah.
That's about all I can say about
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
It's a
Stroud played.
23-14
Yeah,
victory.
Stroud played like one drive. I think he went like 6 for 6 and a touchdown or something like that. So, I mean, that's a great way to roll into the playoffs. I mean, and we're playing them, so we'll see what happens. They've been looking a little stagnant over the second half of the season. So obviously, you should be happy with the way that played out. Everyone stayed healthy, didn't play too much, and they all played good. So, yeah, it was one of those stupid Week 18 games, but Houston still got the dub.
They got the dub, and like you said, it's always good if you're, obviously if you don't have the first round bye there, to come in with a victory, especially if you've been kind of struggling, barely got. Well, I'm gonna say barely got them, but they didn't dominate their way into the playoffs like some of these other teams. So it's always good to get a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, that's promising for you
Another
Colts,
AFC.
though, right? Your guys' division, so you could steal that division next year. Yeah. I don't know.
We
Too soon.
we decided not to move on from Chris Ballard, so
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure.
Mm.
Anywho, speaking of the Colts, we finally beat Jacksonville. That's one of the teams that we, for some reason, struggle with.
Overtime.
Albeit we didn't do it in a beautiful manner. We did it in overtime. But Joe Flacco did what he had to do. Jonathan Taylor had a big game. But, it's... I don't know. The culture in Indianapolis... I mean, Pat McAfee's kind of brushed up on it. It's not quite where it needs to be, but, hopefully we learn from this season, move on, and have a better 2025-26 season.
Yeah, I mean, off seasons are pivotal for every team every year. Things change drastically, like from year to year in the NFL. So, I mean, you guys are one of those teams that there's just no question. It's like almost like there's just one little missing piece, whether that's front office coaching or something will get your team locked in, and The Colts have always been like, they're kind of like the Chargers too, where every year they're promising, right? And then it's like, is it the Andrew Luck curse? I don't know. I don't know.
It's possible. I mean, it's hasn't been great since. So, but moving on, we'll end the season negative once again. But again, we'll hopefully promising next year. Then we had Buffalo at New England. I'm not like utterly surprised. I mean, I thought maybe Buffalo's second string would be better than New England. Clearly not, but obviously, most of the starters benched the entire game or at least pulled out very early. So New England got a cheap dub
Yeah.
over the Bills.
Yeah.
But
Shitty
I
18.
like this Joe Milton guy.
Oh, dude, Joe Milton, man. Yes.
I like this Joe
Oh,
Milton
he had a
guy.
hell of a game. One of my favorite performances all year. He cooked, and people,
It was
a lot of people. I think he's from Tennessee, and he has like the strongest arm in the whole league. Actually, apparently, he throws it like 90 yards, like 80, 90 yards. But people say he just like
he moves
sucks.
too.
Yeah, people just said he sucked. Like I never really got to watch college football at the time really too much, but people say he like sucks outside the pocket or looking down the field. Dude, he was making crazy extend the play type plays.
I was gonna say he was getting out of the pocket.
Yeah.
He was scrambling. Almost not quite there, but reminiscent of a younger Cam Newton for a
Yeah.
couple of plays there. I mean,
Yeah,
he
he's
looked
fast
good.
too. He's like one of those guys now that's probably gonna earn himself like another contract just from that performance, like 2 years from now. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna be one of those guys.
It was great. No, he had a hell of a game, and I was very surprised watching him because I hadn't really seen him play, and he had a spectacular game. So shout out Joe Milton. If anything, from that garbage game,
Yeah.
got to see a young stud.
And then Gerard
Rise.
Mayo got fired immediately after the game, which yeah, it was
Yep.
surprising. Obviously, it is fucked up to do to a 1 year coach. I still called that shit. I swear I called that shit. I called that like week one that they were gonna fire the dude because it just
It
seemed like
was-
it wasn't gonna work. Like the way he was talking to the front office. Maybe I don't know, but it's not even that. Robert Kraft, I think, said like they just like said, "No, our team's in a terrible position. We shouldn't even like we put him in a terrible spot." So it wasn't him. That's what he was trying to say. I don't know.
Well, I think they're also doing the play where they're trying to see if they can get a variable over
Yeah,
from
which would
Tennessee.
make sense. It'd be like a D'Amico Ryans of the Texans situation. So
So that might be the play. Yeah, the year one thing on a rebuild kind of,
that sucks.
sure it was kind of shitty, but
Yeah.
I think they saw the opportunity of landing Vrabel, and there was probably going to be either now or never. So I think
Yeah.
they just went on that hunch.
Yeah, Kraft doesn't got too much time left either. I'm sure that's part of it. I'm sure Jerry Jones and him be thinking that way. Like, we gotta do something now before I die. Like, I swear. But hey, they successful owners, man. Gotta kudos to both of them. But we'll move on, right? New York at
New
Philly.
York Giants at Philadelphia Eagles. Shout out Tanner McKee, man.
Mm-hmm. He looked good.
Shout out Tanner McKee.
I believe Malik Neighbors once again was cooking. He was because at that point in time he took over the rookie record, which later got broke by Brock Bowers again. They were just like seesawing, but yeah, Neighbors still out there producing. He's gonna have a hell of a career, man. He's a beast. He's just a beast.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, look, it's pretty much a backup Eagles team that beat a really terrible Giants team that somehow decided they wanted to beat Indianapolis and still fuck themselves out of the first round pick. But you know what?
Yeah.
It is what it is. I don't know why you would win one game and lose the next one, but whatever. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Moving on, we had New Orleans at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay 27-19 over the Saints, but the game started kind of slow.
Yeah.
Wasn't a whole lot of action. One thing that I will take away, though, shout out Mike Evans, man, tying the record.
Yeah, that part was like one of those moments where I was watching it, like as a real football fan, it made me so happy to watch. And like I'm sure some people thought he was out there, and I'm assuming I guess, but some people thought he was like celebrating the bonus, the incentives, because they kept talking about it. Dude, he was celebrating the legacy, because that is one of the greatest that's one of the greatest stats ever. 11 see and this
Absolutely.
and he did it from rookie year starting, I believe Mike Evans did. So 1,000 yards, 11 years in a row, and then this season, and I'm sure there's been other years, but this season he missed like 4 games.
He did
So-
miss a few games, so he should have broken this a little bit earlier.
Magical.
And to do it on the last play
Yeah.
of the regular season, to be tied there with one of the greatest of all times. I mean, that's why he celebrated.
Yeah.
I'm sure the extra money didn't hurt,
Yeah,
but
he cashed in like
the
3
first
mil.
thing he went in his mind is that I'm up there with one of the best
Yeah,
wide receivers of all time, and if I have a healthy couple seasons afterward, I will be cemented as
One of the
He's the
goats.
GOAT.
He
So
he is a
shout out.
certified Hall of Famer. And yeah, you're right. He could like just slowly truck his way to be one of the greatest top 5 receivers of all time. I mean, it's hard to get in that top 5 list, but he's already a Super Bowl
I
champ
mean,
too. Like, come on.
there's a lot of big names in there, and like if you think about it, maybe Mike Evans isn't the first one you think of, but
Mm-hmm.
statistically, he is consistent and he's a fucking baller,
He's a
dude. So
beast.
shout out Mike Evans.
Love it.
All right, and this is where you got me.
Yeah, this
I
was
really
dumb.
thought it'd be a little better,
I mean,
but
yeah, it was a
uh,
crazy blowout. Like, no, I didn't expect it to be like that. But Denver, man, they talk about Houston looking good coming into the playoffs. Man, Denver's looking great. I mean, they're about to play Buffalo, so I'm actually gonna
yeah,
root
so
for
they
them,
better
honestly. But
come in great.
yeah, so
They
uh,
needed that momentum,
yeah,
but there's not much to say. Look, they had a team that really wanted to get into playoffs, had an opportunity. Another team that had zero incentive to put their starters at risk. So give their starters a couple weeks off, get them real healthy, and didn't think it'd be a goose egg, nor did I think it'd be 38 points, but Denver did what they had to do. Bo Nix had a hell of a game, and guess we'll see him in the playoffs.
yeah. Denver's defense is definitely a playoff defense. They earned it. So I mean, shout out Denver for being a competitive team this year. Yeah, I guess it surprised a lot of people. Young quarterback, but yeah. But we'll go up to the very next game here on the list. Bolt up, baby.
Talking about playoff defenses here,
Yeah,
let's
speak of
talk
them.
about your boys.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess the only thing critical I'll say is it was a weird start. Weird start offensively. I guess the script wasn't working, but then we quickly adapted and showed up like we have the last 2, 3 games. So, man, put up 34 points. Herbert put up like 350 almost and rushed for like 40 or something like that. He really had a great game. I think he rushed for like 40 if I remember correctly.
Big shout out though, QJ.
Yeah, yeah, he had a yeah.
QJ,
Actually, yeah,
186 yards.
yeah. One of the Chargers analysts on his podcast, his name top flighter Craig. I forget. Shout out Craig. He said something about how for one, Quentin Johnson looks like Kobe Bryant. If you ever see his face, he looks just like Kobe Bryant. He's like, this is like his 81-point game. Like Kobe had a weird start to his career. His rookie year, he like airballed in the playoffs to end the season. Everyone hated him, and then he had an 81-point game. This is like his 81-point game. So yeah.
Yeah, big shout out QJ, 186 yards, man. From the guy who's dropping everything, he caught almost everything this game, and obviously that made up for more than half of Herbert's yards there. So massive shout out, man.
Yeah, it was a hell of a game. He had a great one-handed catch and all that. So, and our defense still looked good against the shitty Raiders. But yeah, big game coming up. Big game coming up. Wild card, baby.
Yep. And then another one you got on me. Seattle at Rams. I guess the depth of the Rams just wasn't enough to take on Seattle, and that's Week 18 football. That you sit your starters.
Yeah,
And that's
just another
yeah.
Week 18 game
That's it.
type thing. That's it. Yeah, can't say nothing much about that.
Another one where you got on me. Miami at the New York Jets. I guess Aaron Rodgers wanted to possibly end his career with one last dub, and he did so
Yeah,
over Miami. Miami just did not look great. They gave up a couple big chunk plays and just could never really kind of catch up with them.
yeah. I mean, terrible season for Miami. Obviously, they had high hopes. I mean, same with the Jets too. I mean, both teams. So I just saw it that way. Aaron Rodgers' potential last game at home against a shitty, underperforming Miami that doesn't have Tua. I mean, yeah, they were in playoff contentions. Tyreek Hill gave up on the team. He stopped playing in like the end of the third, and after the game,
Yep.
he basically got like a breakdown. He's like, yeah, I'm not going to be your guys. So if he stays true to that, that'll be fun to see what happens in the offseason. I don't know what teams will offer up. I see. It's kind of like Derrick Henry last year, except for that was free agency. Everyone like thinks he's old or like over the hill, washed, but like, bro, he's one of the most dominant offensive weapons ever. I think he has a great year if he goes somewhere else next year. Hopefully, us. Not the Chiefs.
Yeah. No, let's not send him back there.
Yeah, fuck no.
Man, your faith in San Francisco has been pretty terrible all year, man.
I think, yeah, I get it wrong every time. Like, even the games where they win, I'm like, I finally choose against them, and then they win the game. So, yeah, fuck San Francisco. They're my Super Bowl pick, dude. Talk about a bummer year. This is a bummer year, obviously injury ridden. Yeah, very unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean that's
47 points.
chalk it up to that. I mean, yeah, dude,
Yeah,
that's a lot of fucking
yeah,
points, dude.
yeah. So, shout out the Cards.
But I guess also shout out Ricky Pearsall. He had another okay game.
Yeah.
Went from being shot to being a prominent receiver in the league. So
He's solid.
If you take anything from that, at least you have a solid receiver in him, and Debo and Ayuk stay healthy and return to the team. I think you have a couple weapons. I don't know what's happening with CMC. It's really unfortunate, but
Yeah, he's making like way
better
more
luck
money
next
than
year.
any other running back too. Like that's gonna ruin the running back market as shitty as it already is for the running backs. Like people aren't gonna want to pay running backs 18 mil a year anymore. I mean, every other running back makes like 13 mil a year. So yeah, I don't know what McCaffrey's career is gonna turn out to be. I mean, these injuries are weird injury. So
Um, Monster game.
yeah,
For the
yeah,
wow. Wasn't expecting it. Minnesota at Detroit. Detroit pounded the walk on them.
Jameer Gibbs is a beast.
Jameer Gibbs had 139 yards. Not to say that Jared Goff didn't put up any numbers. He had 230. Amon-Ra did his part with 77 yards, but 31-9 against Minnesota. That's the first time we've seen Minnesota really get dealt like that. Yeah, it's a big statement game.
Yes,
That's all I'm
yeah,
gonna say.
statement game for sure. Vikings couldn't get the ball rolling. Yeah, you gotta see what Minnesota. Now Minnesota has a tough matchup with the Rams. So
They do.
yeah,
They do. The Rams are looking hot, and Minnesota's coming off a defeating loss like that, coming into the playoffs. They're gonna have to really kind of go back, try to find their identity again, find that high-scoring team, resilient team. But that's tough to do in the NFL playoffs. So, yeah,
we'll see because we're about to dive right into it, right? This is officially playoff pod.
it is playoff pod. So
Oh
let's
wait,
not
hold up, my
fucking-
bad. How many more did I get right than you?
You went from a 9-point down to a 7-point.
Watch this playoff comeback. Watch this playoff comeback, yo. I'm down 7. I don't think it's gonna, but whatever. As long as I make it
Picking
better.
on too many of the same teams, though.
Yeah, at that point I just go opposite. I feel like once again, guys, we're about to pull it up. I'm sleeping on the Vikings, y'all. I'll just throw it out there right now. So I feel like you probably picked the Vikings. You didn't pick the Vikings?
Well, we'll see in
All right.
about 2 seconds here.
Wild card playoffs, y'all. We'll start in chronological though, but let's see what's.
Starting tomorrow
Shaking.
with your boys. So the screen was a little
Yeah, you're top on bottom.
weird this week.
Whoa, wait. Let's not say it like that. Should have put them side to side. Should have put it side to side.
All right, let's start with the Chargers at Houston
Oh, my
at
God.
4:30 tomorrow. We both obviously have the Chargers on this one. I think the defense is still a top-notch team, and your offense has been clicking heavily in the last couple weeks, and they haven't shown really any sign of slowing down. So give me the Chargers.
Yeah. I mean, as a diehard Chargers fan for essentially my entire life, I basically am a part of the team. I'm nervous as hell, man. Like, I'm so nervous for no fucking reason. I'm so mad that it's also the first playoff game of the season. I mean, of the day or the whole year, because it's going to affect whether I like to watch the rest of the games or not. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's playoff football. You lose, you die. But that being said, we're the team coming in hot. They're the team that looks stagnant. It's going to be two good defenses. They got great DBs, especially Stingley, who I think will shadow like Lad McConkey. If we can do what we've been doing the last 3-4 weeks, putting up 30 points or at least get to like 28 points, I think our defense is going to be able to get to C.J. Stroud, as every other team has basically been able to. And I have full faith in our defense to make sure we have more points than them. That's the best way I'm going to put it for this week. And that's every week. It's playoff football, man. We're going to have to grind it out, pound the walk, and win this fucking game, man. So I'm praying to the football
Now, does
gods.
Stingley still shadow McConkey after a game that QJ put up almost 200 yards?
So yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to say. I don't know because McConkey is predominantly in the slot, obviously with his size being in the NFL at least. Because in Georgia he was outside. Like that being said, we still put him outside. I just think we put Lad McConkey in the slot so much that they're going to have to go out of their way to put Stingley over him. That's what I'm thinking. That's why I think that. You know what I mean?
All right.
So
Yeah,
so yeah,
there's a reason I asked this question. You guys will find out here in about probably 10 minutes. But yeah, we both have LA Chargers on this one. Moving on, Pittsburgh versus Baltimore. It is at Baltimore. We both have Baltimore as the favorites here.
yeah,
I just think that their offense is too hot. I mean, I know that Zay Flowers, he's gone out with a injury, but they still have some huge weapons out there, and you know, you get the ball rolling with Eric Henry. That just opens up so much for an MVP like Lamar Jackson to do whatever he wants to. So
yeah.
give me the Ravens.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I had to pick Baltimore. I think it will be a close matchup, but you still got to look at like more recency. Like once again, Steelers have not. They've been stagnant. Their offense hasn't been able to get rolling the last few weeks. And then you got Baltimore, who's been extremely hot. I mean, all season, but especially near the end of this season here. So, I mean, and the last matchup between them, Baltimore pretty much dominated. I'd say definitely more than the other game, which Pittsburgh pulled out and grinded out. So, I think it'll be a close matchup, but Baltimore at home.
It's always a good matchup, man. It's a rival game at Baltimore. This is huge. I think this is perfect for the first week of the playoffs. To be completely honest with you,
Oh
so
yeah,
then we're going to move on to Sunday. We have the Denver Broncos at the Buffalo Bills. We both have Buffalo on this one. I think Buffalo is still just too dominant of a team to really count them out this early. Denver, while they do have a solid defense, the offense has been clicking. I think just Buffalo has proven time and time that they can take down the top dogs.
yeah.
And yeah, I got to roll with them.
That's our number one team coming in the last few weeks for a reason in our power rankings. Denver has looked good. They are also a team that you can say can play in cold weather more than others, I would say. But yeah. That being said, Buffalo at home. Yeah, I gotta take Buffalo. I'm rooting for Denver, but I'm gotta take Buffalo.
I got to go Buffalo, man. All right, and we have Green Bay Packers at Philadelphia Eagles. Philly's looking great. They had a decent rest week there. And honestly, Green Bay has kind of exposed themselves to not be as great and dominant as we initially thought. So, with that being said, I'm going with
You didn't like the pick. You're going with Philly. Yeah, I'm also going with Philly. It's another one of those matchups where it's like Green Bay's been pretty stagnant. They haven't really been doing much, and then Philly's been hot. And then you got a healthy Saquon who obviously sat out, and I'm sure he's hungry even more because he admitted he wanted that record. So, yeah, I see them coming out here with a vendetta, especially last playoffs where they came out so flat. One of the worst performances and upsets of last year and of all the playoff matchups I can remember. So I don't see them repeating that against a kind of cold Green Bay.
yeah, pretty much same.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. We have Washington Commanders at Tampa Bay Bucks. We're both going with our homeboys on this one. Washington's just been too good at closing out games here as of late. So even if it does kind of get into a shoot-off, I think that they'll pull one off at the end. And, Baker does do the Baker thing, and he does seem to make some mistakes at a pretty pivotal time. So if Washington can capitalize on that, I should see no reason why it's not going to be in their favor.
Yeah. Yeah, I see a lot of people doubting Washington. I've seen a lot of analysts say that, talking about how like, Jaden Daniels is a rookie, etc. Well, I'll tell you what, Jaden Daniels is different. He's definitely different than a lot of rookie quarterbacks I've ever seen. He's calm, cool, collected in multiple clutch moments I've seen already. So that plus they already played each other week one. Obviously, Tampa got the best of them, really dominated. I just think it's one of those games where completely different teams on both sides almost now. Like, obviously, Tampa's lost a lot of receiving weapons. So that being Washington's like weakness, I see them not being exploited too much, and I think they're just going to control the game and win this and get Jaden Daniels a rookie playoff victory.
Yeah, if you want to argue that it was Jaden Daniels' first game in the league, I mean, I'm sure there is some sort of jitters you have to shake off and kind of get up to speed. So now that he's had a full season, kind of knows what to expect. It's not the same quarterback that you faced early on in the season.
Yep, I agree.
All right, and this is it. This is kind of where you might try to pull off a miracle somehow. I don't know, but Minnesota at LA Rams. Yes, Minnesota did have a crisis of a game against Detroit, but I'm still rolling with a skull here. Not to disregard LA at all, but I think Minnesota's gonna kind of take that last game personal and come back in the playoffs, play their asses off, and kind of get moving on.
Yeah, I mean, this year Sam Darnold's been great. In the games where he's been flat, the next week I think every week he's played great. So like he should do that again. My thought is you can't forget that he's still playing a Super Bowl winning veteran Matt Stafford off of basically a bye week, healthy offense, pound the rock type offense that can also go vertical when they need to. So I'm sleeping on the Vikings again for like the millionth time. Give me the Rams with this home win in the wild card.
And you have slept on. So I think every time that you.
I already know what you're about to say, and if that means anything, you're gonna get a point swing on this playoff week again, and I'll be down 8. We'll see, but or not. I'm rolling with it, baby. It's playoff football. The Rams have been there before. Minnesota's hot, but the Rams have been there before. I'm sure Minnesota's going to travel to that game. The Rams don't really get the best home field advantage. I hate to bring that up because the Chargers used to have that curse, and we've kind of changed that around. But yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a sea of purple in that game. So home field advantage really won't be much to me, in my opinion. But still picking the Rams.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, LA is not really one of those towns. I mean, there's a lot of people transplanting there.
Yeah, it's a travel place. Like it's like the away teams love to go visit LA. Like that's what it is.
Yeah, it's like I'm sure Minnesota's going to want to go to LA anyway. You get out of the cold weather, getting some sunshine.
Yeah.
So,
but the fans there have been on fire as of late.
Well, I guess we'll see.
You see what I mean by that?
Yeah. Now I'm curious: are they not relocating this game?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything. So I guess the Lakers game got postponed on Thursday or yesterday. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's going to be interesting because I know I think dang, now I forgot. I know a game got moved. I don't remember if it was NFL though or if it was NBA, but I do remember seeing a game switching up.
Yeah, maybe I missed something about that. I don't know. I have no clue. It will be Monday. We're still like 4 days away. I don't know. I have no clue. I guess we'll stay tuned. Regardless, like I said, it's not like the Rams would have much of a home field advantage. So I guess if any team where would it matter, it'd be this one. So yeah, and the Chargers, we don't gotta worry about that. We'll be away every game if we So
all right. Well, look, we're right here about 33 minutes. I think we can turn this off and then kind of get into our little parlay.
Well, but I want to ask you real quick, who do you have for your Super Bowl matchup? Knowing this, like obviously coming into Week 1, you had Houston and Detroit, and that's still plausible. Obviously you picked the Chargers this week. So who's your Super Bowl picks now? I have mine. I think I know what mine would be.
Ooh, give me Buffalo and Detroit.
Yeah. I also have Buffalo at Detroit. I mean, to add a little more context, I do think with what we think the wild card's going to play out is the Chargers are going to play at the Chiefs. I think we upset the Chiefs in the divisional. We actually get an AFC championship first-year hardball game at Buffalo, and then I think we lose and I kill myself. But I think that actually happens. I actually think that happens. Don't you see that realistically happening maybe?
It's possible. I mean, it's not like the Chiefs have been winning games in such a manner that that would be completely asinine to think about. So it's the playoffs, man. Anything can happen, and depends on what the script they want. What they want the script to look like.
Yeah, but that being said, I think Buffalo beats Detroit in the Super Bowl. That's my pick. David
And I'm
Montgomery's
going
back.
Buffalo as well.
David Montgomery's
That's
coming back. I didn't know that.
fucking
I
wild
didn't know
to
that was
me.
happening. That changes like almost everything.
Unreal.
Yeah, so yeah, I'd be happy as shit if I'm Detroit. You got your knuckles back, so they should be dominant. But yeah, Bills Detroit, I agree. So that's it. But yeah, let's get right into it. Our parlay.
Yeah, so why don't you
Yeah, kick it
start
off.
her
My,
off
my,
there?
my first leg is gonna be with the first game of the playoffs of the wild cards, the Chargers Houston. I'm picking the under on the total, which is at 42.5. I do think Houston's defense is good enough to, playoff football limit us a little bit. I think our defense is also going to do the same, hopefully more. And I don't see 6 touchdowns happening, maybe a lot of field goals, but yeah, 40 under 42.5.
No, all right. Well, then my first leg will be Lad McConkey over 90 yards, alternate yards.
Hell yeah, I like it. I mean, at the end of the
I
day, we
think
need him
it's
to
either
cook.
he's going to have a monster game or he's going to be shut down, and I think they're going to have to rely on him heavily. Um, so I'm hoping that y'all get the dub, and McConkey carries y'all there.
Yeah, I'll be excited to see what our offense whips out. Fuck, I forget our Greg Roman. He said that he's got a lot of things in the bag, so he hasn't pulled out yet. So I mean, we'll see what that means. But Lad McConkey needs to get the ball, no matter what. I agree. My second leg to our 4 leg parlay is gonna be it's the Saturday night game. I have Pittsburgh alternate spread because their regular spread's plus 9.5, which I think is feasible. I think it's gonna be a close game, but I'm still gonna play it safe. Plus 13.5 Steelers. I see them keeping it within 2 touchdowns. So yeah.
There we go. All right, my last leg here is going to be Will Disley, 3 or more alternate receptions, man. I think he can get 3.
Yeah.
There's no reason why he shouldn't. I think, y'all been, you're a pass heavy team for the most part.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
are.
everyone's healthy, so I don't see why that's not a feasible bet. What are the odds right now?
I think it was a
Plus
1130 or something like that, plus
1130.
1,130.
So
Yeah.
look, our things aren't crazy numbers. Let's ride.
Yeah, I mean, we've hit like 1 out of like our 5 bets, so let's.
I think it was like 3. I
Yeah,
think
3.
we've
We're only
bet
like
three
we're only like
times.
1 for 3, so let's go 2 for 4, 50% success rate, which is better than most.
Right.
So
Look,
yeah,
and then we're winning $90 the first time. We missed out 10.
yeah,
So we're only like $40 deep right
yeah.
now, and we've won like 90.
We're not really in the red. We're like in the orange.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it, y'all. That's the fucking parlay. Ride with us, baby. Wild card football is gonna be so much fun. Hopefully for Chargers and everyone else. So yeah, pound the walk.
All right. And that was first wild card weekend 2024 of Down the Walk
Pound the
podcast.
walk. Pound the walk, baby. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Let's make a baby. Let's make a baby.
How does one do that?
It's by